For me, I'm going to sort of straight out say that I think an MBA is better. And the reason is that there's optionality with doing an MBA compared to a master's of health administration. And I'm going to talk about some of these things right now. And so they might not be better for you. So don't scream at me for saying that, but I think for a lot of people, I think it's going to be better in terms of where they sit in where they are. So with that being said, in terms of what you're going to be covering with those two, and I'm going to be straight out, I teach in an MBA program, but I have friends that have done the sort of health administration sort of route. And they are very similar in a lot of different ways. So what you're going to be covering is a lot of the similar things, except for health administration. If you do a master's of health administration, it's going to be really focused on the healthcare industry. And so the healthcare industry is huge, right? So if you're already in it and you have, maybe you're a physician or a nurse or something like that, and you want to move up in the chain of command at your organization or at your hospital, it makes total sense to do a master's of health administration because it's easy to sort of move up in the chain of command. So you do see physicians and nurses and stuff doing an MBA, but it's less common than one would think. But although I think that there is a lot of benefit to that as well. So the coursework is going to be pretty similar, but the sort of context is going to be really focused on healthcare administration. Masters of Business Administration is going to be really focused on commercial entities, but there is a focus on not-for-profits and things like that. There's increasing more focus on that because it's really important, or social enterprises. You can do, a lot of places have some sort of healthcare option where you would learn about different healthcare things and more on the sort of business side of things in terms of running things. And so it's pretty interesting to have that sort of option that's there because it gives you, it kind of crosses a little bit of boundaries with that, and sort of you can leverage some of those things. So some programs are doing very well with those kind of options, right? I think a key difference is that the costs are going to be a lot different. So MBA programs tend to be very expensive. Because that there is a lot of people vying to get into those different programs, and it is also a profit center for a lot of universities, a lot of business schools. That is their sort of way that they make money and sort of survive, is through their MBA program and through the reputation of their MBA program. So you have to be well aware of that is going to be a lot more costly. And you should sort of take that into consideration. But, there is sort of the outcomes, the career outcomes are way different, or, they can be way different in terms of what you want to do. So if you are at the moment, so you're 25 right now, or maybe you're 35 right now, you're a physician and you're thinking of, what should I do next? And there's lots of people that are like that, and you're kind of like on the fence. I don't know if I want to do healthcare forever, or I want to do something with healthcare, but I don't know exactly what I want to do going forward. Maybe I want to go into administration. Then it makes sense to do an MBA because you're going to get more. Where we explore organizations in general, right? Like you explain, or you look at all sorts of different kinds of organizations. So business administration, it's kind of got this really bad sort of perception of what it's just focused on profits and making money. And I think that's total garbage. I don't think that is the outcome for everybody. And there's some people that do emphasize that the performance element of organizations is very important. But personally, me and probably half of the faculty in any faculty or college in general across the board, across all universities, probably would not emphasize that at all. I don't think that is the end all and be all, is focusing on profitability, because I don't think that that's how you actually become profitable. is to focus on profitability. You focus on all these other things, right? You focus on culture. You focus on how you're actually operating. You focus on feelings, and all those kind of things are very, very important that we neglect, right? Or research and development, which are all costs. They totally don't make a lot of money for a lot of places or there are cost centers, but the sort of long run benefits of them are huge. So, that's another thing that's going to be really different with the programs, and you have to really take that at heart. The culture of the programs are going to be totally different in terms of the people that they're attracting, right? So an MBA program is going to be attracting a lot of sort of, people that are just focused on profitability, and we're going to make money, and we're going to become rich, and all those kind of things. And yes, there's that sort of part of it. But I'm not the only one that has a sort of distaste for that. Let's just say that there is a real trend at this moment in terms of let's just not focus on this. There's so many more things in this world. So the culture is still going to be that, but you have to neglect that in an MBA program. And I think that's or you have to sort of ignore that sort of component of it. So that's kind of not the best with an MBA program, whereas a Master's of Health Administration or Public Health or whatever is going to be definitely focused a lot more on the greater good. And there's more people that are more like-minded, focus on the greater good. But, if you're kind of more on the business side, you're going to be sort of feeling stuck in that, right? Because then you're going to think that everybody is sort of focused on the greater good and nobody's focused on financial viability and all those kind of things. So you just have to think about that. And the reason, so this is the last reason that I think is this is why I'd recommend it for somebody that is kind of on the fence. They don't know where they are and they're not using it. If you're using your degree to move up in the corporate ladder within your organization, so you're already in a hospital, you're already in some sort of healthcare system, and you're just moving it to move up, the Master's of Health Administration is probably going to be your way to go. But if you are using it as like, I don't know what to do at this moment, but I want to have career mobility, then an MBA has a lot more optionality. Because if you don't want to stay in healthcare, let's say you're a physician, you're kind of like, I don't know if I like this. I want to move into something else. You get an MBA, and then you can get into a consulting firm like a McKinsey or something like that. And then you can move around and you have a lot more optionality, and you might end up doing something else, or you might end up being, you work for an insurance company that is doing healthcare stuff, right? So it just gives you more optionality. And so if you were my friend and you're kind of on that fence, you're like, I don't know what to do, which one is which, I would for sure say do an MBA because of that optionality that's there.